Good morning, everybody. We were glad to be here and to give you a short presentation about the investment in Jordan and the investment climate in Jordan, actually. We have okay. In Jordan, we have upgraded the agencies that they are dealing with investment. So we unified it and we established a new ministry. We called it Ministry of Investment, and this ministry is 10 months old. So we thought that it's a good idea to come and to present why we did this. The screen is changing here, but it's not changing there, by the way. It's here. Okay. So I think it's a little bit slow. What we have in Jordan and why Jordan is a good place to do business and to invest. We have an enabling environment. We have a large pool of high caliber intellectual and professional expertise. So we invest a lot in our human capital, mind, education. So that's why we are raising a good amount of experts that they serve the region, not only Jordan. We have modern infrastructure and strong banking and financial institutions. In Jordan, they are stable, they are up to the international standards, and they are as well in the ease of doing business. And in the banking sector as well, we are one in the top in the region. We have a strong judicial system that adheres to international standards, fair, treat everybody equally. And when it comes to investment, we treat them all the same, and we have protection for investors. We have a strategic location. We are in the MENA region, in the heart of the MENA region. And we serve as a trade and investment gateway for key markets. Actually, it takes 1 minute to change. Anyway, this is our location in the map. We have an excellent web of free trade agreements and trade arrangements. So those are the our major partners that we signed a free trade agreement with. We have a free trade agreement with the US, Canada, Singapore, EU association agreement, and we have other arrangements. We have GAFTA, the Greater Arab Free Trade Area as well. We are part of it, and we have individual free trade agreements with each Arab country. So we have both, plurilateral and bilateral as well. Our main partners are USA, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, UAE, who made the key exporters are Saudi Arabia, China, US, Germany, and UAE. So we have a strategic location, a web of excellence, and a big bunch of free trade agreements. All the reports that shows the development in Jordan, this is before COVID. We did an excellent ranking in doing business. We jumped 29 positions. And in the latest WIC Global Competitiveness Index, this shows the competitive advantage of Jordan. We are having a good environment and a good institutional political stability, a good financial system, and a good human capital. In Jordan, we have the varieties of lands. We have the special development zones, we have the free trade zones, and they are all well established, spread around Jordan, and serves the need of each of the businesses. So if it's heavy industries, if it's toward exports, if it's toward the national market, it's toward our neighbors like Iraq, like here we have Iraq, here we have Syria, here we have Saudi Arabia, Egypt is here, Palestine, Israel is here. So we have a location that serve everybody, and we have a lot of investors that they came from Iraq, for instance, to serve the Iraqi markets. Other investors that they come outside, like foreign investors, they want to go to the US. We have a lot of industries that they are established to Jordan and just for exportation to the US and to Canada, for instance. So it depends on what you want, where you want. We have a lot of allocations, industrial zones, development zones, and free zones. Plus, the Jordanian custom territory is as well open for businesses and have many incentives. We are working on improving the investment business landscape this year through those initiatives. The first one, this is the economic modernization vision. This was launched recently in June, and this a result of an intensive workshop that we hosted in Jordan. It was hosted by the Royal Court, and it has 500 top-notch personnel from the private sector. So there was no government interference. It was a workshop set for 3 months. It was like a retreat. Each Saturdays there was a meeting, and there was 500 private sector representatives in this workshop in the Royal Court. And they had a vision where they want to see Jordan in 10 years, what they think the obstacles are, what they think the challenges are, and what they think the potentials are. And they all put it in the economic moderation vision. This is already published. It's a good document. It has a lot of information inside, and the vision of Jordan for the 10 years, and where it's ambitious, very ambitious, and where we want to stand. And it has the input of the private sector inside. Since we were established 10 months back as a ministry, there was a need to change the law. We changed the law not because the investment law of Jordan was lacking some efficiency or some, let's say, incentives or a good business environment scheme, no, but because we are creating a new ministry. When you create a new ministry for investment, you need to enable this ministry. How you enable it? You need to empower it as well, and you need to unify the business climate when it comes to investment. So that's why we saw that it's critical to change the law. Not many incentives there were changed, nothing inside, but only, let's say, bureaucracy, procedures, enabling, and cutting the time for doing business when it comes to investment. So that's why the new law is already drafted, final. It's within the parliament. Today is the last session for approval, and after that it will go to the His Majesty the King for the royal decree. I think within 1 week it will be launched. Why we did this? We did it because, as I said before, it's needed to have a better and stronger environment for investment. While drafting this law, we did something in Jordan to complement the economic vision, which is the same approach. We hosted more than 30 meetings with private sector representatives. We discussed every single article inside with the consultation session was intense and it was wide. And that's why when it went to the parliament as well, we had sort of a huge discussion, but the discussion inside was intense, direct, focused, because we already passed all the discussion with the private sector. So the parliament hosted, let's say, parliament to private sector around 28 to 30 meetings as well. And then we discussed it with the committees, with the private. So it went through a lot of consultation. So this is maybe the first time that we did so much consultation was come to law before even handing it. So we think that this will serve and will help us. Complementing this law, we drafted it, the investment promotion strategy for the coming 3 years. And this strategy should serve the needs of the vision, because if they are not allied, that means it will not be approved. This is already drafted, ready for launching, but we are waiting for the law to be launched. And then afterwards, we will do some adjustment, and this will be launched. We targeted, because we are newly established ministry, some markets, not all, and we specified the sectors that we will target for the first 2 or 3 years. What we have in the new law, we have the facilitation of authorization, permit, license procedures. We set target dates and deadlines. We have regulatory reform, non-fiscal and fiscal incentives, both. And we are focusing on the non-fiscal, because not always fiscal incentives gather or attract the investors. When it comes to non-fiscal, the land allocation is one, infrastructure support, and we go in detail about it. Energy support, social security, premium support. This is because the need of investors. Those came out from the investor. That's what they need. And then when it comes to fiscal, corporate tax reduction, corporate tax exemption, and custom duty exemption. We have 2 categories. The fixed asset, production inputs, space part necessary for all incoming activities, economic activities. This will go through directly exempted from custom duties and reduce sales tax. Income tax, we have rural areas or areas of priority for Jordan to attract investors to. We will do some incentives when it comes to income tax. 4 to 5 years at least, 30% goes up to 100% exemption for the first 5 years. This is because in that area we need to do job creation, we need to develop the areas, we need to develop the economy in this area. So that's why we look at it preferably. And this is as well linked to some criteria and some procedures needed. Some of it is like at least you have to have 25 to 150 Jordanians in that area to be hired. With the law, we established a Council of Ministers, which is a new, let's say, a ministerial committee. Whatever is granted under the law, it goes by law. This will meet for special strategic projects. If there's a strategic project that is Jordan needed, and it has a huge impact on economy, in employment, in developing the areas, then we will submit the request to the committee to be established, or to gather, and to look at it, and to grant them extra incentives according to the need of, let's say, to do this business in Jordan because we need it. And that's why we put the cost of energy, water, renewable energy projects. We could contribute in lowering the cost, allowing investors to deduct the cost of installing infrastructure, because sometimes this rural area need infrastructure. So if you want, you don't need to wait for us to do it. You could do it yourself, build your infrastructure, and then you could, if you are under this criteria, you could ask to deduct it from the taxes that they will come afterward, and we'll do some formulas. Granting tax and custom exemption or reduction in return of employing a minimum numbers of Jordanian workers. And we have here as well similar and better if those workers with a certain amount are women Jordanians. So we give them a special treatment either there, because we have the Jordanian, let's say, unemployment rate is around 26 this year. So 26% is very high, and that's why we are putting certain. This is the economic modernization vision. I will just give you in a nutshell what it looks like. This is the goals, where we are in 2021 and where we aim to reach in 2023. Why 2021? Because we have the numbers then, and the vision is this year. So we started in 2023 and 33. This is in GDP, we are 42 billion. We are aiming to 81 in 10. Employment, we 1.45 million. We need to increase by 1 million. We need to create 1 million Jordanian, let's say, create job for Jordanian and 1 million extra within the next 10 years. This is the expansion capital. We are looking to net expansion fixed capital for 58.4 billion, and this numbers came from a formula that they use in the workshop. That means we need to attract 4.5 billion a year. And this is a KPI that is a little bit stressing for the government, and that's why we needed to do some changes in the laws to facilitate doing business. This is the government contribution is 10, which is the infrastructure, all this governmental projects, but 30 is our, in Jordanian dinars, that means 45 is the contribution from the direct investment, locally or foreign. This is how we spread it. Domestic investment, 17 billion, FDI, 25, government is 15. So, and this is the contribution percentage to the sectors that we identify and how we will allocate this. And this is our target, and this is our plan. The goal is increasing investment in the kingdom in order to stimulate economic growth in line with the Jordan economic modernization vision. So this is the goal. And we identify priority sectors, and this should be gathered with a greater role of the local and foreign investors. This is the investment opportunities in billions that we identified in Jordan, but those are only titled. This needs to work. So all those sectors are priority sectors. So some of them are not a main sector, maybe it's subsector, but those what we identified in the modernization vision as sectors that we will focus on for the next 10 months. We have the healthcare, transport, ICT, financial services, trade, creative services, food products, chemical, engineering products, agriculture, energy, water, tourism, education. Education because we are one of the best in the region and we want to continue this and to be even better. So those are the sectors that we are identified, and each number is what is our aim in each sector to attract, as I said, foreign or local. This is in billions dollars for the next 10 years. And those are where all the, let's say, opportunities that will be inside. Other sectors are still open, but still, that's what we have. This is the cards that we did for each sector, let's say, but the next step, it will be like identifying specific specific opportunities in each sector. This is what we have. Chemical, 2.7 billion. Pharmaceutical, 1.1 billion. Food products, 1.8 billion. Those are the opportunities that we have for the next 10 years. And this is what we focus. This downstreaming, like in chemical products, we have downstreaming processing plants for phosphates, because we are a country that's one of the top that they are exporting phosphate importation in the world, actually. Downstream processing plants and chemical product industrial park. In the food, textile, we have a very successful stories in Jordan, which is the exporting to the US market, Canada. After the free trade agreement, we raised the export to the US market from around 200 million to 1.7 billion. And US and Jordan, it's the countries that we have a fair trade balance of trade. Like with other countries, it's a huge, the trade, we are exporting less than what we're importing, but when it comes to the US, because of the trade agreement and the textile sectors and other sectors, we are almost neck to neck when it comes to the balance of trade. So we import similar to the number that we export. So that's why we have good opportunity in other areas. For the future services sector, the ICT services, film industry in Jordan is a key, because there's a lot of very well-known and famous movies that they took place in shooting, and even in Jordan, because we have Wadi Rum, which looks similar to Mars, and all those space movies, they are shooted in Jordan. So why we have this as an opportunity? Because the industry itself, they are only shooting in Jordan, but then they're doing the montage and everything and the process, they do it in some other areas. So we think that it's better to have a city for this, and they do the shooting, they do everything, editing, whatever, in Jordan, and then it will be launched. And this is an excellent opportunity, and this came out from the private sector, and it was asked by the producers. Like, since we come here, why to go somewhere else? Let's come here and do everything. So this is an excellent opportunity. Financial services, trade as well, healthcare. You know that we have diversity when it comes to places where people go and get themselves retreated, rehabilitated in different areas in Jordan. One of them is the Dead Sea, which is well known. And what we have in the Dead Sea is something, we have the golden part of the Dead Sea, because we have the sunset. So when you go to the Dead Sea, sunset is from Jordan. Like, you can sit and see the sunset. If you go to the other side, there's no sunset, so it's only maybe. So, and the texture of the salt, the water, everything, and it's coming with hot springs, and there's many complements, and all this, they need to be developed, and there's a lot of opportunity when it comes to tourism. Transport and logistics, because we are always the transit hub for the region, and Jordan's connected Europe historically with the Gulf states, with Africa through landline. So there's a huge potential as well to continue serving as a logistic hub. Tourism, we talk about energy and water as well, because we have the best quality of sun in the world. Water, those are needed, because the scarcity of water, we are number 1 or 2. So desalination is a huge sector that we are looking at as well. Innovation Center, Aqaba Main, Amman water desalination, just to get the water from Aqaba, from the sea, down to Amman. And we have R&D as well, higher education, private partnership, and the sectors. We have a new law for the PPP in Jordan. We have now bring it to be under the umbrella of the Ministry of Investment. And those are some sectors that we are focusing on. Those projects are already having the studies ready to be launched. The public school constructions, we saw that we need to develop the public school in Jordan, upgrade it. We started with tendering out 15 public schools. These were just to test if this is a good, let's say, project for PPP. We launched the bid. We received almost 26 bidders. This number was, for us, a surprise, because we thought that maybe no one interested in a public school as PPP. We filtered and evaluated the applications, and now we have 4 qualified bidders to take the role. And within a week, we will choose the winning bidders. After the 15, we need more than 250 schools for the coming 5 years. Another one that is almost ready is King Hussein Bridge. This King Hussein Bridge is a border crossing bridge. This is between us and the West Bank. Serves mainly, it serves the trade between Jordan and the Palestinian territory, and through the Palestinian territory with the world. So they use this gate to export. They use this gate to go out of the country. They use this gate for doing business and for the Palestinian residents to go out of their territory to the world. So this needs upgrade, because it's controlled by Jordan and Israel. but this serves a third party. We tender it out to be developed and to be upgraded. We are taking care of the Jordanian part, the Israeli authorities in the other side, but this we want to take it as a PPP. This was launched and tendered, and we received, I think, 18 bidders till now, and now we are evaluating them. The concept is new. Everybody's like, why this border crossing? There is nothing like this to be PPP. We want it because they have to do the infrastructure for trade, infrastructure for transportation when it comes to logistics, and even personnel. So it's the only gate. So the traffic is huge, potential is huge, and even the benefits from the one that will take it is huge. And that's why we will see how things goes. Toll road is a one that's under the study. National Railway, it's from the south to the north, and maybe to link it with in future to the one with the Gulf states, and the one maybe it will reach Europe, but this maybe 10, 15, 20 years. We see how things goes in Syria. Aqaba Amman water desalination, we mentioned it. It's 300 million cubic meter and conveyed to north, which is Amman and Irbid. We started the tender process, but expected to be completed in 2007. Those are some of the projects that we are looking at recently, and there's another 9 projects that it's still not mature enough to launch them. I think I concluded by this. I'm sorry for being late, but we wanted to come here and to explain what we are doing in Jordan. We have newly established ministry, and we want to do our, let's say, best to serve Jordan and to serve the region and to serve even investors wherever they are. And thank you.